Jesse, would you like to go through, mainly for protocol, what's the difference between utilizing an asset for collateral and taking a loan?
Yeah, so the word loan, when we're all growing up, it's kind of scary, right? People tell us, you need to work yourself out of debt. Well, that's kind of true if you don't have any money, right? So let's say you don't have anything of value, you don't have a home that you can collateralize against, or stocks, or crypto, or other valuable things, maybe a basketball team that you own, right? And you don't have things to collateralize against. And let's say you're like working paycheck to paycheck or something, right? In that case, a loan would be bad, right? Because you're borrowing somebody else's money and putting yourself into this perpetual debt, just having to survive and then pay back somebody else, right? They're making money off of you. That would be, a very good example of bad debt. But there is such thing as good debt, and good debt comes off the back of you already having things of value, right? So, you've heard this term CLOC, or a HELOC rather, home equity line of credit, right? It's actually better to borrow from yourself against your own things and then pay yourself back. If you have a 401k, that's invested in the markets, you can take a loan out against your own assets that you already own and then pay yourself back. Well, now you can do that with crypto, right? So if you own some crypto, you've got some value in there, you don't really want to sell it, well, you can just lend against your own asset and essentially choose to pay yourself back. That's a really good example of keeping your appreciating assets. This is how the wealthiest people in the world do it. That's why you hear people, who are in like the billionaire status, and then every now and then you hear in the news that they didn't pay any taxes. How could this be? And then it always turns out, oh, it's because they never sold their assets. They literally just lended and borrowed against them, right? So you can do that in crypto now with protocols such as Liquid Loans, Earn Protocol, and put your money to work for you.
I think another important difference is that while you can borrow against the equity of your home in a HELOC, you can borrow against the value of your securities in a margin loan. You can take advances from credit cards. All of that type of debt is interest bearing, as far as you need to make minimum payments and you need to pay interest on that debt, right? Whereas in Liquidity and Earn and Liquid Loans, you are locking up your assets and you are minting stable coins in exchange, but you do not have a payment schedule. There's no amortization schedule. There's no pay down schedule. There's no interest rate, right? It is your stable coins that you're minting from your collateral, and you pay it back whenever you want to pay it back, as long as your trove or vault remains in a healthy collateral ratio, right, above 110%, then you can keep that open as long as you want, right? And have the stable coins doing whatever you want elsewhere while your collateral stays in the protocol. You're not making minimum payments. You're not, leaking funds into interest expenses that just eat away at your ability to grow your portfolio over time, right? So it's extremely powerful when you take, that side of the equation out. Now, you're not losing so much of your capital to, what you would normally lose if you're using other sources, like borrowing for those funds.
Yeah, some people ask, how is it possible that there's no interest payment? Well, if you were to borrow money from a bank, they give you some cash, right? That's literally cash that they would have put to work for themselves, earning some sort of yield somewhere, whether it was in some sort of market or they lended it to somebody else. Everybody wants to earn a yield off of their money, right? So a bank gives you money and they expect that, based on your credit score and such, they're going to make money off of you for doing that. Well, with code on the blockchain, you can do it a little bit differently. You're minting against your own value, but there's no middleman. There's no bank giving you it. It's literally code. And the code doesn't have an interest payment that it has to charge so that it can make money because it's already like your value to begin with, right? So there's a one-time borrowing fee that gets distributed across to stakers in the protocol, but there's no ongoing monthly requirement to pay back any sort of to pay interest. So it's kind of cool. It eliminates the middleman, reduces the fees essentially with that no interest, and it turns DeFi into what it's supposed to be, a community-run bank on the blockchain.